Recording is started. Hello everyone, and
Hey.
welcome to the community call of this week. How do we start this? First, is it working well on Twitch? Can you hear me well? If someone can check and tell me if you can hear my voice.
Yeah, works for me.
All right. So let's go. We'll start this week with the nice. Thank you for man of. We'll start this week with a changelog, a few screenshots of Plakman, and the first screens that we'll have to show you about our commercial release. We'll have a slide about the major contributions of one of our users, and that will be it. So you can start, Gilles, with the cache usage rework.
Yeah. So we did a lot of metrics aggregation with Mathieu to try to optimize the cache use. And one of the things that I spotted was that we were doing double writes about we're writing something in the cache that we already had for another structure that was also cached. So we did some rework to clean up this and make sure that the right path to the cache is trimmed down. This was merged already, so it's going to be part of the next release. We still have some work going in that area, but there were a few optimization done there. So yeah, a bit of cache work was done this week.
And so not everything will be released in the 105?
No, we have we have quick wins, stuff that are absolutely not dangerous, that are we could write the code, test it, and be 100% confident that nothing breaks from this. So this gets merged. Stuff that is more involved, that is more testing, that we want to be sure that doesn't have bad side effects, is deferred to after. So we have at least enough time to test it. But part of the work was done already, and we have multiple plans, multiple things to look into to take the proper decisions for the future.
All right. And so what about this 105 release?
So 105 is being finalized right now. It's a minor release that has it's 104 basically, with some of the first user feedbacks tackled. Like minor bug fixes here and there, optimization here and there, memory optimization here and there. It's likely going to be tagged tonight or tomorrow, depending on my ability to finalize one last diff, and should be released on Wednesday. So,
all right.
yeah, it's 2 days away from now. It's like nothing major changing, but most complaints that we had post 104 have been fixed in this one.
Okay. The next subject is for Omar, but I see that I don't see Omar. So can you talk about the new package manager?
So basically the idea is that we wrote a package manager for Plakar, which consists of 3 commands: create, build, and well, not 3 commands, 3 parts: the create, the build, and a recipe layer. The idea is that you have a plugin that's built from a manifest. Yeah, the manifest describes what's inside the plugin. Does it export like a storage layer, importer, and exporter, and so on? We have a recipe. The recipe is hosted by us, and it provides fast install to any manifest. So for example, you would write a plugin. You could put in our recipe just the version on the repository where it is hosted, and we would be able to do a Plakar PKG build or Plakar PKG add from that recipe. The thing is that was written as part of Plakar, which means that any other component like Plakman who would benefit from that can't make use of it. So what Omar is doing is stripping the PKG layer outside of Plakar, so that it's like a standalone package that can be imported in any of our projects. So it's mostly a cleanup work and making it a standalone package. That does not change anything from a user perspective. It's like it's the boring stuff that takes time for us to do, but that no one sees. So it's not rewarding, but we know that it brings benefit for us.
Okay, cool. Mathieu, do you want to talk about the orchestration? Mathieu needs to request to speak first.
Yeah, he needs to raise his hand.
Do we agree? Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Where's your face? We need to see your face. But...
It was the kill switch was on. That's why it was not working. And it should be working now. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, orchestration. So for the AMI that we are doing for AWS for Plakman, we have some requirements of doing some lightweight orchestration, which means we don't really want to use Kubernetes or anything bigger than that, or I mean anything that size. We are running in a pretty confined and defined environment. We control everything. It's a Bourbon Linux distribution, so we set out to write a little orchestration. It's kind of a stretch to call it orchestration at this point, but does orchestration for Plakman, which the daemon will do basically two things. It's running Plakman and keeping it up to date, or actually live switching to a new version whenever the user requests an update. So Plakman would see an update from our APIs and present an option to upgrade. Obviously, we won't force an update on the users, but present the opportunity to do the update, and then through the magic of the orchestration and a bit of Docker Compose magic, we will spin up a new environment, test that everything works with the new version, and everything goes well. We just live switch to the new version. Yes, and the orchestration is obviously also managing a bit of infrastructure, which is mainly a database at this point in time.
And the load balancer.
Load balancer is mainly for us to be able to do live switch.
Just to put some perspective on this for users, the thing is we want to have an image, like a disk image that could be deployed at AWS, but also at G-Cloud and other, and even on dedicated machines and compute. We set up to implement a LinuxKit based image with Mathieu, which is what we've been working on for the last 2 or 3 weeks. This, I think we're done. Like the image looks like what we want. Modulo minor things. The orchestrator is just a tiny daemon that's like as lightweight as possible. So the idea was to, like the initial POC was using a shell script to do the orchestration through Docker Compose. Now we are like with a very, very small daemon that we want to keep as light as possible. So that's why we're not going for a Nomad or Kubernetes or K3s or whatever. It's just meant to be a Docker Compose swapper, basically. That was finalized. It's never finalized, but it's made. It was made to work last week, basically at this point. So yeah, the idea is that now the image is done, the orchestrator is done, and most of the work in Plakman is done through Plakman rather than the image. Omar.
Hello, Omar. So Gilles talked for you about the new package manager.
Yeah, let him talk anyway. Let him explain. Maybe I missed. Maybe I'm not even sure what I said was what he wanted to say about the package manager.
Well, I kind of trust you, but in any case, so the thing is that the current version we have of the package manager is a bit lacking in terms of some feature. Both features that we want to expose in the open source version of Plakar and some feature that we need in Plakman. And on the other end, and also internally, I don't want to say it's ugly, but it's a proper way to say it. It's not as clean as I'd like. It's not the best example of code that I've wrote. I think I've wrote worse code, but I definitely wrote better code than that. because the thing is that initially I've written it as a proof of concept, so we wanted to have plugins. So we started to write the first version of the SDK with the interns, and on the other side I was writing the Plakar side of it, and I was like, okay, let's see if we actually can make if we can make it work, our plan. So having an integration package that's PTAR and what. So I started to write the code more as a proof of concept to see that we had all the APIs needed internally to actually have something working. So you start with the extraction of the PTAR, then you start to actually install it in some place, you start to deal with the caching of it, and then you start to add layers and layers of feature, because we also want to list the packages, we want to remove them, we want to download them from the internet, we want to build them, and all those other things were added more as a layers on top, and become a little bit angled, let's say. So since I also needed some other feature for a work on Plakman, the other night I just sat down. I started to I initially wanted to just clean it. Then I realized that it was probably easier to just start with a clean implementation. So I sat down, I wrote what I think is a nice interface in terms of code, at least, and start to implement, borrowing some bits from the current package manager, of course, but otherwise. And this means that, it's not extremely shiny. The public interface on the command line will probably remain more or less the same. We will be able to provide us some new features, like we would have flags to update the packages, which at the moment is impossible to do. And not impossible, it's not implemented.
You would
We
remove
can
and add a
the
new
feature.
one.
Yeah, you need to remove and add another one, whereas now you would have explicit flags for replacing a plugins, which is very nice for development, because you want to have a quick iteration where you fix something, you rebuild it, and you replace it, and you test it again. Downgrade it in case we need it for whatever reason. Hopefully not, but in case there is the option, upgrade, of course. And overall, a nicer internal interface. So it would be less code, better interface internally, and externally more feature available. That's
the thing is that the thing we did not mention this a lot, because it's kind of implicit for us, but the package management for us, it's like users see it as a way to install plugins, but for us it's also the way to build and test stuff. And the current implementation has it has a polished way of doing the build and add. So users just type build S3, it's going to do things behind the scene. So it will fetch the recipe, do the build locally. If they do add, it will do the same resolution, blah blah. But for the developer side, we did not do the same polishing, because it was like mostly for us, unless if we are not definitive on the way it should work. Decisive, I'd say more decisive. Right before we tagged 104, I discussed with Omar and was like, we have a PKG create, we have a PKG build, we have a PKG add. PKG add is for users that are logged in to install packages. PKG build, user who don't want to log in, don't want to have an account, they can still build stuff. Or if they want to develop things, well, now it gets a bit more messy, because they would have to resort on PKG create, which is our tool, when actually build would do the work. And that was my point, like when we did the tagging, was we should clean up this a bit, because I don't see a reason to have a create. We should like just have build and recipes, and that will work fine for everyone. So yeah, I think that clip, like, it's not as I said, Omar, before you joined, it's not like a shiny feature that everyone will see as, oh, that's wonderful. But for us, it's a bit of cleanup, of unrewarding cleanup, that's still necessary, because it still makes things a bit nicer. And from a developer perspective, if tomorrow you want to write your own plugins, like not as a part of the team, but as an open source contributor, you would have a better tool using that you write than using the current way.
Let's move forward. Sorry, Omar.
No, I just said that's it. It's exactly what I wanted to say. Just say it better.
We have a question from Joe on the chat. PKG build will require local install of Go plus make, correct? it's not incorrect. So
basically,
Yeah. It's correct. Yeah, it's PKG build is to build, so you have to have a build toolchain. If the plugin was in like something we also did not advocate a lot, but the plugins and like all integration, anything that you can plug into Plakar doesn't have to be written in Go. You could actually like it's a gRPC protocol between the extensions and the core, so you could actually write your extension using another language. You would need the compiler or the interpreter for that language. When you do a PKG add, you are no longer in that territory. You are actually you're actually adding something that's pre-built. So.
But I don't remember. PKG build takes a pass as a parameter, no?
It takes a recipe.
A recipe.
Recipe tells you. Yeah, recipe is a pointer to a tag or a version at a repository place. Yeah, the path that you can provide is a path to a recipe that's local, or it's a URL to a recipe, or it's the name of an integration that we host. And in that case, we will resolve that into the recipe. So it can be a file, a remote file, or a name if it's one that we support.
Okay. Let's move forward with the setup wizard. So we worked on Plakman with the first screens this week, and we have the wizard screens, which are the first screens you're seeing when you have a fresh installation of Plakman. They might change a bit, but that's the idea. At first, you have to enter the email address that is using or that is owning your Plakman instance. Then we'll ask about your organization. You can put any name here. Then you create your root account, and then that's all. After that, if you click on Let's Get Started, you can start viewing the Plakman interface with the list of your stores, of your sources, destinations, policies, and so on, schedules, and whatever you can imagine in the commercial release.
Can you go back one slide, please?
Of course.
Okay. It's okay.
Cool. So we expect to have many more screens this week to show you for the next community call, and to shape what the future commercial version will look like. And we have a huge thank you for Pata27, who is listening to this stream.
That's his avatar now.
Yeah.
So you allocate this one to him, okay?
Do you like it?
Yeah, well, I think we should have, every time someone contributes something, we should have an avatar built for them.
It could have been a P versus an S.
Yeah, it could have been a P instead of an S.
Why? Because in
Pata?
Yeah, but it's super Pata.
It's super Pata. Okay.
So, do you want to talk about the hooks? Anyone?
Yeah, someone wants. We just joined this stream from a call about the hooks. Who wants to talk about it?
No, I can go for it. So Pata has been implemented because I think he needs it. He has the need for it on his usage of Plakar, but a lot of users have been asking for it. Basically, it's quite a simple concept actually. It's a way to invoke any shell script, anything actually, before and right before and right after a backup. Most people want this to be able to dump a database, for example, to get a latest right before your backup dump of your database, or you could you could do it to do a snapshot if you have a snapshotting file system, sorry, which we want to support ourselves to simplify everything, but for now we don't. So it's a way to do it. You could, for example, if you're on BetterFS, you could snapshot your volume, mount it at some point, and point your backup to that mount, which lets you get an atomic view of your file system before doing a backup. And the post hook obviously lets you clean up any data that you have created. So in case of a BetterFS snapshot, it would be unmounting and deleting the snapshot, for example. So the way to use it is through the configuration. You can specify pre and post backup hooks. We also added fail hooks, which are triggered if your backup failed, which, for example, if you do supervision, want to notify something, can be helpful. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The original PR from Pata was adding also command line options to do it. We decided against it because we don't want to clutter the flags on the command line, which is already quite big, and also we don't really see value in it because, well, if you are doing it through the command line, then you can just call the command that you expected to be calling like right before doing the backup. So we don't really see value in it.
Omar asked me, like, he said, I'm on the fence about this. I'm not too happy with the command line, and like I was trying to convince him that we needed them. And as I was trying to convince him, I realized that I'm not convinced myself we needed them. So that made two of us want to remove it. And Matthew was also like from that camp. Let's say that.
In any case, that's a great contribution because, as I said, a lot of people have been asking for it. Just wasn't like top priority for us. So Pata made it. That's what's beautiful with open source.
He made other contributions.
Yeah.
That's probably
a lot more. A lot more. It's a more recent one. We just merged it, but yeah.
There was also the improvement on the documentation, so Plakar source import, store import, and destination import. This command line, these commands are used to import a YAML file into Plakar, and it was not well documented, so it's now fixed. And I'm not even sure we merged yet on Plakar.io. Because he also made an update on the documentation here. Where was it? Guide? No, it hasn't been merged yet. Yeah. But it will be merged pretty soon. You just need?
I just need to sync them. We'll do it when Jill is ready for the release.
Okay, all right. And I saw an issue that has been created to improve the snapshot filtering on the UI. So when you go on demo.plakar.io, for example, if you list the snapshots, we have a filters here that allows to filter by any type that is in the store. But the filtering options is quite limited, and we will extend that in the near future to filter by creation date or by path. And final words. If like Pata, you want to have your own illustration, you can contribute to Plakar, and we are actively looking for stars on GitHub. This is a metric that we're interested in right now, so please star our repository and follow us on Twitch, YouTube, and so on.
Oh, you should mention that our CEO wrote an article and posted it to the website.
That's right. So on Plakar.io, you have in engineering, Plakar blog. You have falsehoods. Engineers believe about backups. It's all the all the points you might think about backups that are wrong. The idea of this blog post came from, wait, where was it? It was falsehoods programming. Here was it. Here it was. It's a list of falsehoods that is quite famous. I think about everything you might think are true about something and are actually wrong. For example, about names, it's that you might believe that names are only written in ASCII, not contain numbers, not be all caps, and so on. And there are counter examples for all of this. And you have falsehoods lists for anything, for emails, for names, for addresses, and so on. And we now created one for backups. So yes, you need to not expect your cloud provider to back up your data. You need to ensure that your backups can be restored after it's finished, that red replication are not backups, S3 buckets require backups, your backups are not safe from ransomwares, encryption is mandatory if you want top-notch solution, and so on. And we also have post on Reddit /r/Plakar that you can see. We cross-post here, and feel free to upvote the post. Oops. Final word?
I guess that's all. Have a nice week, everyone, and a good release on Wednesday.
Bye-bye. See you.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.